to get to here in our opening segment today. I don't understand why in sports we do things that the majority of people really don't want us to do.
Okay.
There are two things that are happening likely today and next week, but was announced yesterday, that the majority of people don't want. But we're going to do them anyway. It goes back to like losing the Pac-12. I don't know who wanted to lose the Pac-12, but we ended up losing the Pac-12. I wish it was still around with USC and UCLA and all those teams out there. But yesterday we get the announcement that we're going to use the automated balls and strike system in the All-Star game next Tuesday night in Atlanta. So they're going to actually use it in the game. They're using it in AAA. So we're going to get to see how it works. Basically, the umpire's back there calling balls and strikes, and you can tap on your helmet and challenge a call if you don't like the ball and strikes. Apparently, it's 15-second quick decision, faster than the tennis one, faster than the NFL replay review and all that. It's supposed to be really quick. But they did a poll, the Athletic did, and where is it? 93% of the players don't want it. 93% don't want it.
I think human element is part of the game. It always has been. Look, robots are taking over. And what happens when you challenge an when you upstage an umpire, you get thrown out of a game. You upstage a robot,
they're going to kill you. They're
going to put something in your food.
What do the players not like about it, do they say?
They're happy with the way it is. Now, some of those that were polled were pitchers, and you get to work the edges. But, some of the hitters, they like the tighter strike zones, that you get with some umpires. And, when you go to the legitimate what the strike zone is, that's actually a bigger strike zone than most umpires call. And so that's going to really help some pitchers on the ups and the downs of it all, maybe not the edges.
What do they call now? Letters to knees?
It just depends on the guy.
Well, it depends on the guy, but what's the official strike zone?
It's supposed to be, here.
So armpit to
just
knees?
the bottom of the knees. Yeah.
Armpit to bottom of the knee. It's what it's supposed to be.
And that's a big strike
and you're
zone.
right. A batter does not want the ball up around his armpits. That's a hard ball to hit, right?
To me, baseball is such a... I don't want to say bigger than any other sport, but officiation or umpiring in baseball is so massive, and I just think human element's important.
I kind of agree with Jason in the chat room. I can't believe there's 93% that don't want it. That seems awful high. It's hard to get 93% of people to agree on everything.
Do you guys want it? I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't watch baseball very much, so I don't care one way or the other. But Lance, it would not bother me.
Here's another poll: 85 out of 134 hitters don't want it. That takes the pitchers.
I bet they don't.
85 out of 134 hitters do not want it.
But this is not removing the umpire from the field. To your point, this is just. And how limited am I on replays? How is there a limit?
Oh, I do not know I don't know.
You got to limit that now. I don't want to see a guy tapping his hat and stepping out every other pitch. That's just going to slow the game down. They've actually done a great job of speeding the game up and making it much more watchable. Let's don't slow it down by adding replay.
Yeah, well, ultimately, all of these guys are going to be pushed out.
What, the umpires?
Yeah, I think even boundary calls. I think you will have maybe an eye in the sky, and then you'll have a guy back at Command Central that can do bang bang plays.
If we get it right, though, I don't have a problem with that.
There's some nuance, like there is in football on the holding. I don't want every holding call.
I don't either.
No,
nope.
Right?
No, it's just going to slow the game down. As long as you let my team hold as much as my opponent holds, I'm fine with it.
But if every holding call we called on an offensive lineman by the book,
it would last forever.
It would be a boring sport.
That's right. You'd have a.
And it's the Pennant Grace. My name is Emily Grace. This is Ush. We're already chatting, kind of making fun of each other. This should be an interesting show.
It is going to be a very analytical show because we've got our glasses on, Tyler. We're here to look smart.
We are.
EG I was afraid she was going to be late. She was busy doing science experiments with her glasses.
I sometimes add a little fashion when, I'm going a little more natural for the day. I add a little bit of pizzazz.
I sometimes add a little blindness, and I cannot function at all without my glasses.
These are not real glasses. These are what we call blue light glasses, but they're from a Chinese website, and I got them for like $2.
These are real. They're very
Prescription.
That
real.
would
What's-
probably increase
Extreme.
blue light, EG.
What's that?
So it might increase the blue light.
That's
They
true.
honestly might. I don't see any sort of difference wearing them versus not wearing them. What is your prescription? Can you share with the class?
I don't know the number. It's strong. My eyes are about as jacked up as the Atlanta Braves. That's
There's
how
that
bad my
segment.
eyes are. Stigmatism, all the type things. I can't get LASIK. Yeah, stuck with
Really?
these. Yeah,
Why can you not get LASIK?
because of the stigmatism, the eye muscles.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fashionable.
Yeah, I hate wearing them.
You look sophisticated.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Tyler. I appreciate
We both
that.
look sophisticated.
I tell you who flexed their muscles last night.
Yeah.
Ronald Acuna
Ronald
Jr. and the
Acuna.
Atlanta Braves.
Yes.
They won a game.
Woo! And they won it in very strong fashion.
What a weird little first two games of a series. Both blowouts and both teams winning teams struck very early.
Yeah. And so one of the things that I noticed too, well, let's start here. Acuna was supposed to be hurt.
Yeah, so you see it, and now we're just accustomed. You see the tweet.
Oh.
He's out of the lineup.
It didn't even really...
I told you
we
in
were
person,
together.
and I was like, and you just now expect the worst. And
Yeah.
I hate being like that. I hate being a person that expects the worst in things.
Right.
But that's kind of what we've been conditioned to.
Right.
The streak of tough breaks the last couple years. But, if he needs to take a day off, he can take a day off when he comes back.
Agreed.
He hit 2 home runs last night.
Yes.
Austin Riley had a home run. Drake Baldwin had a home
Your
run.
guy.
And Marcell Ozuna had a home run. His
Right.
first one in a long time.
Did you like the post that I sent out last night?
I did.
The little screen. So you know what that was from? That was
liked it.
from 2021 NLDS,
Okay.
I want to say. And I was on Ronald Acuna's Instagram Live, and I screenshotted that. And I knew that would come in handy long before we had a Brave show. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that we can kind of pull that out when we need to.
Smuff, I can't wear contacts either. I would. I hate wearing glasses. Stupid. They're stupid. I don't like them. They're good. They look good on Clark Kent.
Yes.
I say that because Tyler and EG, Tim Melton, amongst others, going
Yeah.
to see Superman today.
Tyler's in a Superman shirt.
Clark Kent is Superman's alter ego, EG.
Yes, I knew that.
I don't know if she knew that or not.
I did know that. I'm excited to see this movie.
Yeah.
It'll have a little bit of a bright spot for us as we can't really enjoy the Braves right now.
Tyler, which movie is it where he's in there as Clark Kent and they're teaching him how to work out, and he has to be all weak and fumbling around? You just saw all these movies.
Oh, yes.
It's the one that has
That's,
I can't remember the
Superman 4
actress's
Quest
name.
for Peace.
Yeah, okay.
There's this corporation that's taking over the Daily Planet, and they were doing jazzercise for some reason.
Yes.
Jazzercise.
What a terrible movie
That was awful.
Superman 4 Quest for Peace is.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah. But you love quests for peace.
Sure.
That's
Who
an American.
doesn't?
It's a very American thing.
Yeah, I like a quest for peace. The Braves are on a quest to steal our peace because we have a panic button.
Yeah.
We purchased it. Now
It's here.
It's here. Now, of course, though, you have last night's game, which is awesome.
Uh-huh.
And I said this. I said, what do we do if the Braves?
Last
doesn't
night has
matter.
no
I
bearing
know.
whatsoever. And this is a very short window to have a panic button because you only panic if you think there's a chance the season has slipped away. Many people in Braves country are past that. They've already thrown in the towel.
Right.
It's over. We got a towel, by the way, too.
That's coming
But we
soon.
can't throw in the towel until we press the panic button. And broadcast partner, I would like for you
Me? What?
and with your well maintained nails
Fingernails?
to hit the
No.
the
this
official.
is-
Can we get a good look at it?
oh my gosh,
Can I get that there? Look, there, the official
guys, this is your
Pennant Grace panic button.
This is your panic button, though. This
All right,
has
let's
been
do it together.
Okay. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wow.
Oh, that is panicky.
That is panicky. It's British.
Man alive.
Wait, it's British.
Oh, I like
let's,
it.
Let's hear it again in the mic.
It's a British man.
It is. That
Wow.
makes sense. I tell you, when the British started panicking in 1776,
Yeah, they did. Amen.
they started panicking then.
You know what I fell asleep
Paul
to?
Revere rounded the troops. Okay? It's
You know-
all over.
You
for
know what I
them.
fell asleep to last night? This actually ties in. So sometimes I can't sleep. I'm not like an insomniac, but I'll put on like history things to fall asleep to. It was about George Washington.
How about that?
I know, and we talked. The little person who was British actually talked about what you just talked about.
Well, he
Paul
instilled
Revere.
panic in
Paul
Great Britain,
Revere.
just like Ronald Acuna Jr. instilled panic in the
Sacramento
A's last night. So it was a good reminder of, if you go back to 2018 and look at the success of this run of the Atlanta Braves, a large part of the identity of the team and the success of the team is built around the home run.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely. That's a
They've
great
never
point.
been this iteration of the Atlanta Braves have never been a team that would just blow you away with batting average
No,
and
the
things like
small
that.
ball, any
They
of
are
that,
a
that was-
team that mashes, right?
Yes.
And so you have had players over the years, including some that are on the roster now, that one of their greatest strengths is the long ball.
Yeah.
And so you got that. Your best player hit 2.
Mm-hmm.
You have, your maybe a superstar in waiting in Drake Baldwin. You had Marcelo Ozuna, and you had Austin Riley. Only one that didn't get in on it that you would expect would be Matt Olson, who's been playing very, very well. So that was good to see. It was fun, and it was quick. They struck fast, big first inning.
Which, again, I want to sit on this for a second. You mentioned the identity, and we talked a lot about this on Tuesday, that we feel like the Braves don't have an offensive identity and how for so long it was the home run.
Yeah.
But I'll be the first to say there was complaints, though, with that because it wasn't a conducive strategy come postseason.
And it was what certain people weren't used to.
Right.
But there was great success in it.
There was.
You won all those division titles. You won a World Series. There was success in it.
There was.
They knew what they were doing.
But there also was a need that was identified to change that approach.
Yeah.
And but
Boy,
now-
did they.
Did they?
Don't hit home runs. Don't hit the
Anything,
baseball.
and swing at things that you should not swing at. Looking
Yeah.
at you, Michael Harris. Speaking of which,
He was out of the lineup again last night.
He was. He was.
Against a lefty.
So this is my thing with that, and I've seen some people talking about this. It's almost like the Braves need to commit to something
Yeah.
for the rest of the season because I think that we can say now postseason looks abysmal. I don't think that we're going to be, chatting it up with you guys in October.
You sound like you're in a panic.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does different ones. This was
Yeah.
worth every penny.
Every penny. $13 on Amazon. If you want to match us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't think we can talk about postseason baseball anymore. That's not a shock. That's not a surprise. But what do you want to see now going forward from this
Well, I
team?
want to see a completely different approach at the plate.
But is that going back to what we're familiar with, which is the long ball, or just committing to whatever style they're trying to commit to?
Something different than what is there now.
Okay.
That is involved in, or the catalyst of, or however it is, or however you want to word it, in deep sixing the trajectory of guys like Ozzie Albies and Michael Harris II. So you look at it from a total. We had all those numbers on Tuesday's show. You still have guys, Austin Riley and Matt Olson, that are having good years.
Drake Baldwin.
Drake Baldwin, Ronald Acuna Jr., but Marcel being down. The thing about Marcel being down is there were those times last year where Marcel absolutely carried the team. Mm-hmm. And you'd look and it's like no one's hitting but Marcel. And so, it'd be fun to have him kind of get in on that this year as well, which we expect to be his last year as an Atlanta Brave. Here's another thing. Spencer Strider pitches tonight. He's on the mound. Be fun to see. And it's an hour earlier. It starts at 8.
8:05. Yep. That's good for
see
you.
more of it.
That's good for you.
I'll see more than the first inning or two.
Yeah.
So he's one of two pitchers, remember, that the Atlanta Braves have. Two starting pitchers. They have two of them. One of them's going tonight. Actually, Bryce Elder was pretty solid last night.
He was solid, and I think with Bryce Elder, a lot is expected of him. He does not always deliver.
Yeah.
His stuff is not elite, but it can be really solid, and last night was an example of that.
I agree. I think that's a good assessment. So we'll see. They could take that series. Then you have St. Louis. The best case scenario is the Braves do win tonight. I mean, I know. What all does this matter? But best case scenario, Braves win tonight, and you do well, take 2 or 3 from the Cardinals, and then you have the All-Star break, and then, if you have best case scenario, I guess, would be a sweep. Then you have at least you're not
just,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to turn around.
No, it's not going to turn around the season. I think that the time has passed for that.
But a little glimmer.
Yeah, a little spark, if you will.
Yeah. And then I want to see some guys, look, I want to see some guys that they have in the farm, particularly their arms. I want to see these guys get some shots and see what we have in some of these young guys. Listen, no one's mad at Didier Fuentes.
Nice.
Most of us are mad
at the position he was put in.
At the team for putting him in this spot.
Exactly.
Which is like as bad as I can remember in recent memory. They've called up guys that we can look back and say that was too early, but I've never seen one more egregious than Fuentes. He had absolutely no business being up there, and I feel bad for him, and I hope it doesn't just
kill his
wreck
confidence.
his head.
Yeah.
Because that was horrible.
It was awful, and it doesn't make sense. And to me, it's just so unfair to him because his mental makeup right now. Hopefully, it's not completely shot, but it's hard to imagine that it wouldn't be.
And you knew it wasn't there. So why?
Why?
Why that last start? Why do that? I get that but just keep calling guys up in the chat. I do address Hunter Bussey. New approach at the plate needs to be Plan C combat. That's from F1.
Love it. If you have not seen F1, we both loved it, and that's
we saw it.
A little.
It's a movie, Tyler, and I saw it. I went to the movie theater and saw a movie.
I'm so proud of you, Ush.
Thank you very much.
And I was right next to him.
Proud of myself.
And
yeah.
I'm going again today.
Yeah.
2 movies in a week. I don't think that's ever happened.
This is great.
I'm gonna get popcorn. I'm a big popcorn fan.
Glasses going or?
No, probably not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You're more like a just the everyday person when you're at the movies.
Yeah.
You're not.
I'm not in my.
You're not dealing with Bunsen burners and beakers
no.
like you are here. And according to my calculations.
According to my calculations.
Carry the 3, glasses.
I can't do math at all, which is funny about this.
We always do have a little bit of fashion talk on this show.
We do.
And so I don't know much about Oakland. Sacramento, Las Vegas.
We're going to always be doing this.
But from all indications from what they had a video that came out recently kind of showing what the stadium's going to look like and all the Vegas stuff. And looks like they're keeping athletics.
Yeah.
The uniform and all the stuff. That to me is... We were having uniform talk earlier because the next round they covered they ranked all the NFL teams USA Today based on uniform. I did not agree with their list.
Who was number 1?
Number 1 was it the Raiders or the Chargers?
I believe it was a tie between the Raiders and the Chargers powder
best?
blue.
Well, I love both of those. I don't have a problem with that. I was telling Scott Forster that if his Falcons, when they wear their retros,
I do like the retros.
Then to me that's easily a top 10. I would have Scott. Would you put the A's as a top 10 baseball uniform?
No. I don't think I could get there with the A's.
Yeah, so I really like it. It's classic and clean. They're the only ones that use that color scheme.
Yeah.
They've never changed it, by and large, and it just works for me.
I think
don't
the
love it.
A's hat is one of the best hats
I
in
agree.
baseball.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
I agree. It's a very good hat.
It's a good hat.
And it's I
They've
don't
got
know.
an elephant on their logo
yeah.
I like that
logo
too.
for some reason. I don't really get that, but
He's athletic.
whatever.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I like the vintage, classic, just very straightforward look of those uniforms.
And I like too. Everyone can't do blue, and
No.
you have to have some differences out there, and that's one of the better in all of professional sports. That's one of the better uses of green. Mm-hmm. The Boston Celtics.
Oh, I like the
obviously
Celtics.
that's a great one.
That's number one for green.
That's
for
a
me.
great one. Green Bay Packers
yeah.
and the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
Those come to mind immediately for me.
Oregon too.
Hey.
You don't like their uniforms?
Which one?
I know that's the thing. There's so many.
I mean, every
variations.
once in a while, once every 3 or 4 years, they'll wear something I think looks pretty good.
They get a little creative, which I guess it lends itself with Nike. But I don't know. I think that uniforms, to me, are one of the more fun aspects of what we get to do here.
I agree.
Obviously, we love fashion, but you just can't beat the Braves.
Well,
You just can't beat it.
I think Major League Baseball has the best percentage of good uniforms amongst the major American
yeah.
leagues.
I would agree with that. To me, they never get the All-Star game right, though.
They used to when they just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You just wore your uniform.
I think that looks so much better.
That was right.
Yeah.
That was the correct way to do it. Speaking of All-Star, so next week is All-Star week.
Mm-hmm.
We will, I promise, now it may just be me,
No, it's not going to be just you.
but I'll be
It's
chiming
not.
in over the weekend on this Cardinal series.
No, I'm going to be there too.
We'll see. But we are off next week
We
for
are.
the All-Star game, and my broadcast partner, the scientist Emily Grace McWhorter, will be in Atlanta for SEC Media Days,
Mm-hmm.
and I am just hoping there's some kind of way that you find your way into some All-Star festivities.
I wouldn't be surprised. My brother will be there.
Yeah, he's going to the Derby. I know.
Yep,
Home run
he'll
Derby.
get the Derby.
See Ronald Acuna Jr. win it in front of his home crowd would be something.
Yes. So I would imagine that I may take a little trip to Truist just to see
Yeah, I think you
maybe the
should.
little village and things like that. But we are going to take the week off. I think that we all need a little bit of a breather, if you will. We're going to take a break with baseball.
So here's what I want people to do during the break.
Tell them.
Okay. Number one, if you've missed things, I want you to go back and catch up.
Yes.
Gives you a good opportunity. You get a week off. You can catch up on it. Well, they're talking about old games, things that happen. You don't know what we're going to be talking
No,
about.
you really don't.
Talking
That's
about
the beauty.
science experiments today and glasses and all kinds of stuff.
Sometimes you talk about Ush Poolside. That was
Yeah.
a whole moment there.
That was. So catch up and make sure you're following us on X at the Pennant Grace,
Yep.
and we will be checking in throughout the rest of the week.
We have a lot of fun on X. I think that right now it's like really kind of cathartic to chat with you guys during these games and lament together. So check us out there. We love to interact with you guys. We try to reply to pretty much everything that we see there. But it's like a little family over there.
Yeah, and thank you for handling the late shift last night.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I didn't go to bed until the final score came out, which was good. And then did you like my black and white photo I did?
I did. Liked it a lot.
Thank you.
That
I
was-
felt like it set the mood.
It was kind of edgy from you.
Yeah.
You were like
Edgy
That
one
was
day.
angsty alternative rock EG. She's
And-
like this photo's going to be in black and
Yeah.
white.
Yeah. I got
Defy the norm, Tyler. I got a little
I'm
edge
emo.
to me. Yeah.
I don't think anyone puts that.
Emoji.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
Emo.
love that. I don't think anyone puts edgy
good.
and Emily Grace in the same sentence.
Usually not.
Usually not. And then today I'm wearing glasses. Maybe I'm just having a weird week.
I'm all over the place.
I am all
with
over the
this,
place, just
you
like the
know.
Braves.
Emo EG, scientist EG.
And then reporter EG next week.
Yeah, and reporter. Also, personal EG note, you have some content that just hit
Yes.
YouTube. You could tell
I
us
do.
about, please.
Yeah. So Bray Hubbard, Alabama safety. I had an opportunity to go down to Bama and I did a slate of interviews, and the next one is coming out. I also interviewed Jeremy Bernard. You guys can go check that out on the TNR YouTube page. But it's really interesting, and I think that y'all will love his story. It's a good, you want to know more about him. You're going to see more of him this season, just like you did last season. And he breaks down his approach, when he's on the field, what he's doing when he's on his own time to prepare for these games, why he fell in love with Alabama. So if you have a little time today, check it out. But it's on YouTube, so you guys can go find that. And you can also go watch the other one, Jeremy Bernard. And then next week, we have all the SEC Media Days content coming
So
out.
this is part 2 of this series.
Yes.
And so those are available on demand on the Next Round's YouTube channel. Very well done. Very well shot. You must have had a really good camera guy.
I did. You know who it was? Scott Forrester. Woo!
Scott Forrester.
Thank
what a
you,
guy.
Forrester.
Look at that. And it's posted there in the chat.
Yes.
So direct link there. And so make sure you check that out. Good content there available for you. So off next week. Make sure you're following us. And, let's just all hope for a nice little weekend and then a good All-Star week next week. It's a good time to have a couple of days off of no baseball and kind of recalibrate, get all the negativity out, flush it from your system. We got a lot of baseball left to play.
We
all
do.
right?
There's a lot of baseball. Maybe do some retail therapy. What's the code they need to use?
That would be PG20. If you go to roback.com and you fill your cart,
Which you will.
with multiple items.
Yes.
Scott Forster had on his Roback Auburn lightweight hoodie earlier this
Great.
week.
Yep.
That is a top tier item
Pretty
at,
sharp.
at roback.com. I mean, their game day collection, and we're getting really close. SEC Media Days next week, really close to college football.
It's like kind of the unspoken official start to college football, in my opinion.
So all their stuff is there available, but all the other stuff is there available too. Fill your cart, and on that first order, enter code PG20 and save 20% off your entire order. PG20.
All right, guys. So we will not see you next week. I know you'll miss us dearly, but catch up on the latest episodes. We're on podcasts as well. We will miss you, but until then, have a great day, Braves country.